Pardon me for a bit if I just jump into the music right quick. But yeah, hello everyone, this is your boy LVCreed here. Just letting you know that this is going to be a little bit of an interesting thing that we're about to showcase here. For a little bit of a recap, this is the fourth game that we've seen from Mega Man. We saw probably one of the best ESA celebrities here, Big John, doing 2.5D earlier. And also had some good Mega Man action from 1 and 3 from Cool Kid and Prissy. A couple of Mega Man Classic Runner Legends already just about a day ago yesterday. But now, we're about to just show you something a little different. As you can see, we're in the intro stage of Mega Man 7. I want to let you know that Mega Man 7 in this case had been mostly unchanged. Enemies have been unchanged, stages are unchanged. However, this is a gimmick hack made by Japanese ROM hacker Purasabe. If that name is not familiar to you, then you're probably familiar with a certain ROM hack called Rockman 4 minus Infinity, a pretty notable ROM hack. So, if you want to know about the difference about this game, I'm just gonna shoot right quick. This is what I'm gonna be doing the entire game. This is gonna be my sole weapon. There is no boss weapons I'm gonna be picking up. I'm gonna have no items, no rush. This is basically gonna be the whole thing I'm gonna be using the entire game. However, this may not be the actual projectiles I'll be using. To my lovely host, can you tell me, there's supposed to be a bid war between beans, which I was firing right now, and lemons. What was the winning bid?
Thank you. We did get a last-minute $15 donation from Qton saying beans. And that did beat out the lemons alternative, so your projectile will be beans.
All right, so we're just sticking with what we got here. So we're just going to restart the game here. And the category for this, since I am going to be doing beans, is what we're going to be having on screen, which is Rockman 7 80% burst bean. So we got the beans, but where does the burst come from? The burst, if I do my shoulder buttons right here, I get a set of special options, and you get about 3 extra options that you can mix and match amongst each other. And for this set, you already missed out on lemons, so unfortunately you ain't gonna be knowing about that. But we do have burst chaser mode, and I'll explain what burst chaser mode as we get underway. And I think we should long been underway. So let's get this thing going and start with 3, 2, 1, beans. So, like I said, when we're doing Rockman 7 Bean Lover, there's really not much change. However, with my special beans, we got a little bit of movement tech like this. So what you just saw, I'm able to actually aim my beans in multiple directions and arc it up or down in hello base, goodbye base. And since this is technically a buster only ROM hack, I can pretty much just go in any order as I choose. Once again, I get no weapons from the bosses, and there is a lot of the downtime in this game has been significantly cut. So you get no boss introductions. If I beat the boss, you get no cutscenes, weapon get animations, and so on and so forth. And with the burst chaser mechanic that we're doing, you can do a lot of good movement, just like I did right then and there. Of course, this is still a Mega Man game, so there is a little bit of lag. So, when we're talking about movement tech here, you can also fire out ladders, a little bit of convenience. You really gotta learn how to navigate your bean hovers, as I tried to do earlier. A little bit of RNG here with the fans. They're pushing me back. So, this game is made to be very, very accessible. A lot of options for you to do, a lot of safety, and a lot of means for bosses to just die in an instant. So, for this particular ROM hack, a lot of bosses have literally no iframes, so you can pretty much just kill bosses in a blink of an eye. So a lot of the strats in this game is basically based on your movement. So with the burst chaser active, all I'm gonna be doing is a lot of recognition on how my slides work, because the burst station extra speed is only going to be accessible to slides, which is why you get a lot of long, lengthy jumps, a lot of, yeah, as you can see, doing proper beam hovering allows me to go up vertical areas as fast as possible, literally the fastest form of vertical movement. So if you have any areas where you get a lot of vertical platforming, you will definitely need to do the beam hover strats so you can get up vertical sections as fast as possible. Finish up on Junkman stage here till we get to the Junkman fight. So when we're coming up on boss fights in particular, like I said, we have no iframes. However, it's not that simple as that. When it comes to actually dealing with damage, you need to be about as close to the Robot Master as possible to get the maximum amount of DPS for draining your boss's health. So once again, just make sure all the movement is good. You use the big jumps, use all your slides, all your shots as properly as possible in order to get through each and every obstacle as fast as possible with added speed. Assume sometimes my controls on them is not jacking up on me at times. So one of the things you really gotta make sure is to know when to actually destroy things or actually damage boost in order to get by enemies as quickly as possible. Sometimes it can actually be more advantageous to actually damage boost through enemies rather than try to kill them. Freezeman doing almost tried to crack me for a little bit. Freezeman a little bit RNG. He can try to fire his freeze cracker, which he did just a few moments ago, trying to dump it on my head. Fortunately, I was ready for it. And like I said, this game has a lot of quality of life features. You do not die from spikes. You will take a lot of damage, but instant death is not a thing for this ROM hack. So we're going to do Burstman stage here, take care of this mini boss here. And hopefully if I do my positioning correct, very good vertical movement. So for Burstman stage, I really want to move as fast as possible because I'm actually trying to deal with the bobbing and weaving of the chemicals here in a cycle. And I'm trying to get fast burst. Not quite, but still pretty fast. So yeah, for the most part, this is fairly a simple-ish ROM hack, but the point of the matter is, I want to prove that ROM hacks are not necessarily meant to be these very hard, complicated, these very hard, very complicated, like pixel perfect, very cheap affairs that you probably see in the past from other players and just for general ROM hacks. Just something that you can easily get into, show a little bit of, just a little bit of extra flair, a little spice here and there. Oh, didn't get the one cycle, but that's fine. Match still went down pretty quick. As you can see, very little load time. You don't get the cutscenes from Dr. Light talking about, oh, what do you think about this base character? And all that nonsense there. It's just pretty much just keeping going. The flow of the game moves very, very smoothly. And literally everything moves fast. Even these dinosaurs. These dinosaurs supposedly are supposed to be moving a little slower in vanilla, but thanks to Kurosawa just literally having no chill in this particular ROM hack, everything moves a little faster, so the flow of the game is actually pretty smooth. Wait for the mid boss. And just have his health shredded in an instant. Just jumping, that's fine. So yeah, this is a pretty straightforward stage. However, Slashman himself is not as straightforward because he's also one of the few robot masters that have a massive RNG element. So I need to track how many times he jumps. I don't know if you're gonna start with a big jump or a small jump, and he starts with a small jump, which is pretty. Oh, yeah, I gotta make sure I'm on him. So make sure you're always on him because we do not want him going to the ceilings and wasting time. Speedman stage, just pretty much just go through, flying through the air here. Go to springs. Like I said, this whole game, aside from just gimmicks and mechanics, they're really not all deviated from the vanilla game. It's just the fact that Parasabi just want to add a little bit of extra gimmicks in order to make the game just a little bit different enough to make it its own little thing. And you get this long big jump, nice bean hover, straight up and around, and we're already done with the stage. So, if you remember Springman, one of the things that makes Springman a little bit annoying is that he always when he gets to the middle of the screen, he always jumps up and does his spring-loaded punches. However, thanks to the fact you can bean hover and get close to him, you can pretty much just chase him down and not have to worry about it. So, in regards to Shade Man stage, this stage has like I said, most of the things are the same, but the main issue is you're gonna actually be forced into one path. You know that this stage actually has a separate path where you normally would like have the Proto Man fight and such. Missed time I jump. That's fine. But yeah, once I defeat Van Puken here, normally if you hit the core, you know this area here would have been exposed. However, even if I did destroy the core, you'd still be forced into one way. Parasabi decided that you really are not going to be going any extra routes here. It's going to be the same for Wily Stage 3 as well, but you'll see that in a moment. Once again, I don't have any rush items and such, so I won't be getting the energy balancer. This is literally the only thing I have. So, Shade Man. Same as the rest. Up close and personal, hit him with the beans, and he's done for. So next up is Turbo Man. Turbo Man, thanks to all the quality of life options, is definitely much safer than its vanilla counterpart. Because all the bouncing tires, while they're still there, thanks to the fact that the spikes are not instant kill, you really don't even have to worry about any instant death traps. And of course, since I have Burst Chaser on, I'm able to move through the area as quickly as possible. Once again, using my bean hover to quickly climb up vertical areas as fast as possible. You always want to use bean hovers as opposed to using ladders. Get through the Quickman area. Keep moving on and going to the Sissy Truck, which ceases to be. So Turbo Man, I do want to make sure I do not get caught by the Scorch Wheel. It will be aimed at me, so I need to be sure I can not be in a position to get caught by it and just continue pedaling with beans. Then that's 8 robos done. Very fast this game is, especially with all the extra gimmicks that I have. And we go straight to the Wily stages. A lot of tricky platforming with the extra mechanics. Hopefully these fans will be cooperative and don't blow me up. Here we go. Up. A little bit of... slow me down a little bit. Yeah, the fans are going to be a small source of RNG. Always going to slow me down a little bit if they so choose. There we go. Nice jumps. accidental slide. That's fine. But still faster than trying to get through the platforms normally like you do in vanilla. Meanwhile, base returned after being humiliated in the first entrance. Still gets woefully humiliated. So up next is Gusman G. So Gusman G, just like most of the others, I need to get up and close and personal. But for this, I need some very controlled beam hovering in order to get the maximum amount of DPS. Not bad, not bad. Unfortunately, I still got a boulder fall down on me, but still overall pretty good. Wily Stage 2, probably some of the toughest platforming because there's a lot of enemies that are going to be potentially in the way to slow me down. But of course, as you know, this marks the second appearance of Base in his super form where he got the, the story is still the same. He got the enhancements stole from Dr. Light for Russian Mega Man, and he transformed to Super Base. However, he's still another RNG element. I need him to go straight down. There we go. And we make him like a toilet. Didn't go through the cubby hole for the faster vertical movement. It's pretty tough to get into that little hole in order to get by some of these little vertical sections quickly. But much like Super Base, Gamma Riser, the turtle boss of Wily 2, there's definitely some RNG elements. The number of flames he fires at random, I might not get one cycle. 2 dashes? Yep, it was impossible. He gave me 1 flame each, so I wasn't able to avoid the little turtles from coming out. But still all good. Still all good. So, Wily Stage 3. Once again, using all my techniques in order to get by these areas as quickly as possible. Starting with that first vertical area. Using the beam hover to ignore all the platforming to try to move up vertically as fast as possible. And as I mentioned in Shape Man stage, this is the second area where you're going to be forced to a split path. You notice that by the time you reach this point, there's usually a split path to take you up or down. In this case, Personic decided you're going to be forced to take the spike path. Fortunately, it's not all that hard, and of course, because you have the quality of life of not dying from spikes, just like that, it's much safer than it will be in vanilla. Alright, for High Ed, I need to be in position so I can be able to get a good kill on him. There we go. 2 rockets. And we're almost pretty much done with the game. I was just got a boss rush to do, and we're pretty much already done here. Very short, very sweet worm hack. It doesn't do anything too special. It just does what it needs to get the job done. Oh, does a little bit of a large jump, but as long as I catch him before he goes in the ceiling, we're good. Meanwhile, I need to make sure that Freeze Man doesn't crack me. Alright, he decided not to crack me, so we're good. Otherwise, it's pretty much just different verse, same as the first, for every single Robot Master, and it's pretty much a good point for donations if you have any.
We have some messages for you. Remember that you can donate to win a bunch of cool prizes. You can go to prizes.esa. Wait, what is the link? Sorry, you can go to prizes.esamarathon.com for a full list of prizes. We have a grand prize, which is a custom ESA PlayStation 5 with a minimum donation of $250. You are in the running to win that amazing console. Keep the donations coming, and back to you.
Once again, I deal with Turbo Man, make sure I don't get burnt. Just got 2 more Robot Masters to go. Burst and Shade. Just gotta make sure that I don't get delayed by the bubbles from the barrier that he shoots. There we go. Got them all. Good, clean gameplay. And once again, just like the first time, get up close and personal Shade Man. Get an angle so you can match him when he starts flying up. And already to our final boss. So the Wily Machine, probably, well, the second to last of our major RNG elements, is gonna be what he does on the second jump, on the second pass. There we go. We definitely want those machines so I can stay in right position, get a good beam hover strike, and able to get them very quickly. Now, for the RNG Fest, which doesn't really matter, and time always will be on the final hit. A little catharsis. Oh, really? A little bit of safety. You always start with 2 E-tanks at the very beginning, and that is time. So yeah, very short, very sweet ROM hack. Like I said, it doesn't deviate too much from the original, but that's not really the point. The point is just the fact that you got a ROM hack that is very, very accessible to multiple people that want to get into things like ROM hacking material, especially for a Mega Man series that seem to be very intimidating to start to get into. So something like a Beam Lover is a very good starting point for you to get into, and there are multiple modes that you can play as for many things to just, do. As you can see, there's a lot of stats you can do, the number of beans, it's score for time, your time from an hour. The lower you get, the lower the percentage. That's what 16% comes from. And as the title states, burst beam, which is where the category comes from. And I'm pretty sure that you're pretty much just going to move on and go into the next game. So I will not hold you. I will be back on Friday for a little bit more of an interesting Mega Man game that y'all really don't want to miss. But until then, I'm going to hand it back to our host and continue on with this glorious retro blog where our next game is going to be a fantastic one with some fantastic music. So I'll pass it back over to you.
Thank you very much. You are correct that this is a glorious retro block. The next game we have coming up is Gimmick, run by SPD Wolf. You do not want to miss that for anything in the world, so stay tuned and we will be back after a short intermission.